might be time to make the switch to a heat pump, but you're not sure where to start? Let me try to answer some of your questions. You might even be wondering, what exactly is a heat pump? A heat pump is an efficient electrical appliance that heats and cools your home. Unlike a fossil fuel system, which must burn fuel to create energy, a heat pump simply moves heat from one place to another, allowing it to achieve much higher efficiencies than traditional systems. The two most common types of heat pumps are air source heat pumps and ground source heat pumps, which are sometimes called geothermal. Both work in a similar manner. In the winter, they harvest heat from outdoors and transfer it into the house. In the summer, they work in reverse, similar to the way your refrigerator works. Air source heat pumps pull heat from the air, and ground source pulls it from the ground. Why buy a heat pump? There are many reasons, of course, for installing a heat pump. Though fuel prices fluctuate, for many customers, especially those heating with oil, propane, or an older electrical heating system, a heat pump will likely bring economic savings. Some heat pumps have dehumidifying and air filtering capabilities. A heat pump can also be a space saver, doing the job of an air conditioner and a furnace or boiler. Because no fuel is being combusted, there is no risk of a gas leak or carbon monoxide poisoning. And an added bonus is that most systems run more quietly than the traditional furnace or AC compressor. One of the biggest motivations for switching for many people is that heat pumps are better for the planet. Heat pumps reduce the amount of energy needed to heat and cool your home, and they use electricity which is associated with much lower greenhouse gas emissions than fossil fuels. Our electric grid is getting greener as more solar and wind resources come online in New England. Now, you might be asking yourself, will they work in cold weather? The answer is yes. There are dozens of models of ground source and cold climate air source heat pumps that provide efficient, effective heating in New England winters. In fact, Maine is leading the way replacing legacy heating systems with new efficient heat pumps. Now you might be wondering, when is the best time to buy a heat pump? With the excellent incentives available from the federal government and from Groton Utilities, right now is a good time to get a heat pump, especially if you are thinking about adding a new air conditioner or replacing an old HVAC system. Because heat pumps have similar upfront costs to traditional HVAC but higher efficiencies, buying a heat pump can save you money. For anyone heating with a traditional electrical system, switching to a heat pump can dramatically reduce your electric bills. And if your primary concern is more about how your choices impact the planet, replacing fossil fuel burning equipment with heat pumps is an important step that could reduce your home's pollution by over 90%. Many folks want to make the switch, but don't know where to start. We recommend starting on the heatsmartct.org website. From here, you can download a heat pump planner and a buying guide. These will give you a better idea of what kinds of questions to ask installers. Heat pumps come in many varieties. Get several quotes from vendors and ask a lot of questions. For air source heat pumps, you'd want to know where the outdoor unit is being placed, and if exterior line sets, called piping, will be visible, where will they be placed? Do you need to upgrade your electrical system? What is the make and model of the system being installed, and does it qualify for federal and local incentives? How long is the warranty? And don't forget to ask about references. Here's a little bit about right sizing. Heat pumps designed for residential use generally have capacities between 1 and 5 tons. On average, a 3-ton heat pump can heat or cool a 1,500 square foot building. But factors like wall insulation or the layout of the space will have to be taken into account. Getting a model that is either too large or too small for your home will result in increased consumption. Like Goldilocks, you want a system that is sized just right. Like other major home improvements, Buying a heat pump is a significant investment. Make sure that you take advantage of all of the incentives available to you. Let's talk about incentives. There are federal incentives and even incentives from your local utility. It is important to note that the incentives for air source heat pumps are significantly different from ground source ones. Let's start with air source heat pump incentives. The federal government offers a tax credit which is available annually called the Energy Efficient Home Improvement Credit. You can take the credit on 30% of your project costs up to $2,000. This credit is in addition to local rebates. You will need to have a tax bill of $2,000 to take advantage of the entire credit, as you can't apply any excess credit to future tax years. Some limitations apply if your home is used in part for business. File Form 5695 Residential Energy Credits Part 2 with your tax return to claim the credit. You must claim the credit for the tax year when the property is installed, not merely purchased. The regulations also include a 30% tax credit of up to $600 for costs related to necessary electrical panel upgrades. Further incentives may be available if you meet income eligibility requirements. Ask your installer about these. In addition to the federal tax credit, customers of Groton Utilities who purchase and install a qualifying heat pump may be eligible for a rebate of $5,000 per condenser for up to 3 condensers. And now for ground source heat pumps. The federal incentive for ground source heat pumps is a straight 30% tax credit for the equipment and installation costs. Ground source heat pumps have greater efficiencies and some other advantages over air source heat pumps, but they are more expensive to install. There's no limit on the credit amount. However, if the federal tax credit exceeds tax liability, the excess cannot be refunded, though the amount may be carried forward into future tax years. By researching your options now, you'll be ready when it's time to replace your old AC or heating system. There's nothing like a comfortable, energy-efficient home to put a smile on your face. Check out the resources at heatsmartct.org and grotonutilities.com.